Alright, so I wanted to make today's video on some of the apps, some of the applications that I have on my phone that I use almost every day living out here in Thailand. So I wanted to share with you some of the apps, some of the most useful apps that I use. Perhaps some of these are pretty obvious. I'm just going to run through a quick list of apps that I actually do use pretty much every day. I'm hoping there's a couple of things on there that perhaps you weren't familiar with, perhaps you didn't know about, and then you'll perhaps learn something, hopefully. But yeah, I thought this might be kind of an interesting topic, something I've not really thought too much about, but something potentially that could be really helpful to those of you who are planning to travel, work, or live, retire, whatever, in Thailand, or in Thailand specifically, or anywhere in the world. These could be useful apps probably in lots of countries, especially in Asia. Alright, so yeah, this is just a rundown of some of the apps that I use pretty much every day on my phone. So let's jump in straight away, and I'll go to probably the most useful application out here in Thailand that I find that I use a lot, and we're going to start with Grab. Okay, so this is the Grab application. Now, Grab is a multi-purpose. It's a great application. Actually, I use it a lot. It's really good for booking taxis. You can get motorcycle taxis, you can book car taxis, you can specify how many people are traveling, you get a price up front that you can agree to or disagree to. The price varies when it's busier. It's a lot like Uber in that respect if you're from a country where Uber operates. Yeah, Grab bike, I'm not sure I would recommend motorcycle taxis unless you're just on your own, you don't have too much luggage and you're only going a short way, perhaps it's fine. But yeah, take those at your own risk. But the Grab car is a great service, especially if you're not particularly sure where you are and where you're going. The Grab application, when you're booking a taxi, has like a Google Maps sort of interface that you can look for. So it means the driver can find you, you can find them, you can track your journey, you get a price up front, like I said. You can also link your credit card and certain other things, certain other e-wallets to this application. So if you don't have cash, perhaps you can use your Visa card to pay for the journey, which is really cool in some circumstances. So yeah, it's a great app for booking taxis. Could be very useful to those traveling to Thailand for the first time. Obviously, if you're traveling to any country in the world, it's not unheard of that taxi drivers potentially will take some kind of advantage. You can mitigate those advantages by using services like Grab, where you get the price up front, everything's monitored, and you have somewhere to complain to. So yeah, Grab is a great place to go to book taxis, to book motorcycle taxis, but that's not all what I use Grab for. It is also a great place to order food. So if we look at the Grab application for a few minutes, at the top you can see transport. That's where you'd go to get taxis, motorcycle and cars. Like I said, you can specify, so don't worry about that. What I didn't mention, you can also do shopping, so you can order like groceries, so you can actually order from small supermarkets and pharmacies and that kind of thing on this app. Super useful again. What I use it for most is the food and sort of takeaway service. So if we go to food and click near me, you get a list of all the different restaurants and all that kind of good stuff. So you can really browse sort of what's on offer in your area. This is great as well because perhaps some of these restaurants don't have people there who speak English. Perhaps they don't have English menus. Once again, this mitigates all that because you can you can translate the phrases, you can translate the words, you can really order what you actually want, you can search for the food you're looking for. So it's a great app for ordering food. Delivery fees are usually between 10 and 20 baht depending on the distance, and delivery times can vary. Usually it's around half an hour to get your food. So yeah, I do use this application a lot. In fact, I used it earlier today for my lunch. While we're on the topic of delivering food, it wouldn't be fair to mention Grab and not to mention their main competitor, Panda. So Panda is another app that I do use quite a lot. In fact, I will typically check the different menus and see if I want to order from Grab or if I want to order from Panda. Some of the restaurants I like are on Grab, some of the restaurants I like are on Panda. Now, Panda is only for food, and it does offer that grocery shopping function also. To be honest with you, I don't use the grocery shopping features too much on either of these apps. I prefer to go to the store myself, just because sometimes they don't have the thing you want and you have to phone up and then they might swap it for something else. I like to go and pick out my own groceries, but I do use them for ordering takeout a lot. Both of these applications, I'll just look for which one has the dish or which one has the restaurant I want to use on that particular day, jump into the application and order it. Once again, you can connect your credit card so you don't have to pay in cash, which could be really convenient if you're staying in a hotel. As long as the hotel doesn't mind you ordering food from outside, that's never seemed to be too much of an issue. They'll turn up at your hotel or outside, and you can go and meet them downstairs and get your food. So Grab and Food Panda are apps that I definitely recommend you use if you're staying in Thailand for a short time or a long time. They're both almost daily use apps for myself, at least. The next essential app I would add to this list of essential apps for living in Thailand, although this is very obvious and probably anywhere and probably is essential for living anywhere in the world, but that is Google Maps. Google Maps is a very useful application, especially when you're a tourist and you're looking for certain places. Obviously, you can jump into Google Maps, head over to Bangkok, you can click restaurants, you can see all the restaurants in your area, you can click coffee shops, hotels, attractions. The list really goes on and on. If you're looking for a specific location, specific temple, specific tourist site or specific hotel, you can just search it by name. Almost everything's on Google. You can find almost everything. It's got really good maps for Thailand, especially in areas like Bangkok that you'll probably be going to, so you can find your way around, make sure you're going the right way. I don't really feel like I need to tell you too much about Google Maps. I'm sure you're already very familiar with it, but I really couldn't leave it off this list. This is something I definitely use a lot living out here in Thailand, and I'm sure you probably already do anyway. All right, so on from Google Maps, an application I'm sure you're already very familiar with, and this next one too you're probably also very familiar with, and that would be Google Translator. So Google Translator is, I don't know why I said it like that, sorry, but Google Translator is an excellent app, and obviously I'm sure you can already guess, maybe you've already experienced it and used it. It is super useful for living in a different country. If you want a phrase, you can simply type in the phrase and get a phrase written out in the target language. So you could type a phrase in English, a word in English, get it translated into Thai, written out. You can also play that text. So perhaps you want to play and listen to how to pronunciate the word correctly in Thai. Super useful in those circumstances. If you wanted to just type something in, maybe you want to know where the airport is, you can type airport, it'll translate it to Thai in written. You can show that to someone. They're obviously going to know what you are looking for or what you want when you do that. And you can also play it out and practice speaking yourself. Now, not only of that, it has like a conversation sort of thing built into that mobile application too, where you can like sort of tap English speaker, tap Thai speaker, and it'll sort of switch between the two languages, translating that language to the opposite language for you while you're having like kind of a partial conversation with someone. Once again, super useful. Now, what you may not know, something that I found really useful, something that I find that makes this application absolutely essential for me living in Thailand, is that you can actually also upload images. You can actually just open the camera in the application and sort of scan things and translate things real time. So if you have a written sign, for example, you can sort of hold your phone up and translate it in real time on your screen via the camera, or you can take a picture and then upload the image into the application and sort of select the text you want to translate, and it will do that for you too. This is invaluable, I find, at markets or in restaurants where there are menus that are written in Thai and perhaps you can't read all of the Thai or any of the Thai, so you can use the Translator app to translate what food they're selling or what the place is called, for example. Now, Google Translator app isn't perfect all the time, but it is reasonably very good, I find, especially when it's short words or very short sentences or common phrases. It's very good at translating those. If you have like a really large block of text, it will struggle sometimes. It kind of gets a little bit confusing and it gets some of the tense wrong or something like that, or some of the phrases are sort of misunderstood or sort of completely glossed over. Then yeah, you can have trouble when you're trying to translate large blocks of text. But if you're just doing like menu items, it'll probably be super fine. Like I use this app literally every day, the Google Translator app. All right, and finally, I wanted to tell you about an application called Line, L-I-N-E. Now, Line is the Thai WhatsApp or the Thai WeChat. So Thailand doesn't use WhatsApp too much or WeChat. If you're working, you're probably going to find that you're communicating with your colleagues via Line. That's what I have found. I work in Thailand. My contact with my fellow Thai colleagues is all done through Line. There's group chats and individual chats online. There's also a social media element to Line. Very popular application in Thailand, very useful, like I say, especially if you're sort of working here or you start to build friends here, you'll probably maybe meet people who want to add you online. So Another app that's maybe useful for you, especially if you're going to be spending longer periods of time out here, definitely recommend Line. So those are my essential apps for living or staying or visiting in Thailand. Let me know in the comment section any very useful applications you have for living abroad or traveling. And if you're interested in knowing some of the things you do not want to do, then I made a video about just that last week. So yeah, click the link here to the video I made last week about things you should not do in Thailand. Also pretty useful to know if you're planning to travel to Thailand. So check that one out over here.